Ulonka tabati yada to ye ko ma da Ifa. Inu to ye ko jẹun, lọ fi bí pa. Ọbàtálá, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó, Èṣù, Ògún, Ọya, Ọ̀ṣun. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o? Ó jẹ́ lọ jára.
Alafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Gbemi, and today I have on none other than the legend of Oloye, Baba Ifa Karade. Baba, welcome back. I appreciate you. Thank you for always taking the time to tap in and share your words of wisdom with the good people. I definitely give thanks and Mudapwe, Baba.
Okay. Alafia ni everyone. Back again. We're going to keep making things happen, you know? We're going to keep making things happen. Every aspect of this day has been about keeping things happening. Ifa, Orisha, Egun, the earth, or Nile. Okay? I'm fired up. And as usual, I'll give my warning before we're going in. Okay.
And we're gonna go hard.
Yeah, you know other way to go.
Yeah, man, that's big facts. Big facts. Big fox, big man, big fox. All right. Well, yeah. So, we're gonna go hard. We got to go ahead and get it. So with that, bye-bye. Today is a very historical day, depending on who you ask and what perspective they give you. But nonetheless, it is a very historical day, Juneteenth. So, shout out to, or I should say, much love and respect to our all-powerful, mighty ancestors who paved the way for you and I to be here today. And I love to quote the phrase, if we stand tall, it's because we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. So with that, bye-bye, what is this whole Juneteenth thing? Like, how does this tie into, the veneration and the appreciation of our powerful, mighty ancestors who came before us and paved the way, for us to have these types of conversations today?
Well, I mean, from historical perspective, it's all about the timeline. Kidnapped, captured, prisoners of war, to the innocent ones, crimes against humanity, slave trade, the atrocities, the labor camps, misnomered as plantations. Okay, the horror of it has been so watered down and made to appear as if we were being done a favor. Okay, as if we had nothing and we came from nowhere. So when we look at any minute glimmer, step of a relative freedom within this system at any given point on the timeline, okay, to magnify it to the point where it's a great occurrence, it's important. How many years have I been to school and never heard of it? Okay, it has to become some national celebration, which isn't honored in every state.
Wow.
So it's not even like it's a total, United States is lifting off a heavy burden and bringing some awareness. Some states have banned even talking about it. Okay. Now, that said, again, I work with students, dual enrollment, college. Now they're supposed to be cream of the crop coming out of high school. Conversation yesterday. All right. School's out today. It's Juneteenth. New Jersey, state recognized holiday. All right. So let's talk about it. Now, I teach English, but I teach Afrocentric.
Mm.
Okay. Just like we can read about anybody else, we need to read about us.
Right.
And why isn't it covered in your history classes? Where's your history teacher? Why is there nothing in the school
Right.
that celebrates the Juneteenth?
Right.
Instead, the school is under investigation, for hosting or attempting to host an adult-oriented program in the school gymnasium.
This is at a high school?
Yeah, at a high school. Okay, but you said nothing about Juneteenth. But you got women basketball players coming in with thongs in the high school. And you have one or two parents hitting the roof, and I was supporting them the whole time. Yes, these are your children that are here. These are my children that are here.
Right.
These are our children that are here.
Facts.
And this is Juneteenth time. Why are we struggling against a system within the heart of an urban school, 99.9% Black and Black administrators? And it's what we used to call a chocolate city is New Ark. Why is this even a thing? But I'm not even going to go into it because I'm enraged. You understand?
Rightfully so.
It's like, okay, so we got the Juneteenth thing happening on the timeline, and we got a whole lot of people celebrating, but we have so many more who are misinformed, uninformed, and the counterbalance, or dare I say the counter imbalance, it's doing little things like this that have a mind shifting impact on our youth. We're not going to have a show about Juneteenth. We're going to bring in full grown women to play basketball games in thongs. Somebody caught a video, they twerking and carrying on. I'm like, wow. Okay. This is maddening. But okay. Round one. I'm going in for round two tomorrow because we had the day off. Sitting here with the Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay. Going back and forth with management. They're not supposed to be setting up in the lobby. It's no soliciting.
What are they doing there?
What they do everywhere.
They come to the school doing that?
No. Now I'm talking about the apartment complex.
Okay.
I'm on chapter 2.
Oh, okay.
So they there. So I've been struggling against this. It's been touch and go, but for the most part, I've won most of the battles.
Right.
Every now and then, I see them creeping back up. But what I shared with myself is that the next time they set up in the lobby with free Bible classes and with the whole Jehovah's Witness thing, and they standing there, I'm gonna get my chair, I'm gonna get my table, and I'm gonna put Ifa information, and I'm gonna set up right across the hall from them, right in front of them. And I'm gonna take out my book, I'll put on my earplugs, and I'm gonna stay there as long as they stay there. Okay, because this has been going on for too long.
Yeah.
In management, because they're all Christian, and I ain't got nothing against it. But you're not the only faith that's going to be recognized up in here.
Yeah.
I can't sit back and be happy Juneteenth and my ancestors and all of this, and I'm just watching us be erased. Okay, and having a happy day, oh happy day, okay? And I'm like, you know, what am I supposed to do? So just like you can set up, and let's tell you the truth, from my Zen state of mind, okay, from the deepness of my ori, I thank them. Because it's like if we, the Onisheshe folks, started to take up and set up and be recognized as vibrant parts of our community, what a difference that would make. So you got little kids walking back and forth, they seeing all of this Bible studies and Christian work and all that. And I'm like, okay, there's worse things that they could be seeing. But why can't they see Ishishe?
Right.
Why? Because I'm not doing anything. Okay. And the best I can do is, you know, happy Juneteenth. I'm like, okay, yeah, I would be happy too if I was freed from that. But then freed to do what?
Right.
Every time we built the city, they came and tore it down. You know, every time we tried to run for office at the end of Reconstruction, they basically lynched us. Okay, because there were more Black politicians back then than there are now. You know, coming out of the end of the Civil War, you know, 1863 on to the end of Reconstruction never ended. You know, because then you had the Jim Crow laws and all of that apartheid stuff happening. So my point is, we're going to celebrate our ancestors and their capacity to survive, endure, make that ground of blood-soaked soil something that gives us life. Okay, granted. But into Ifa and Isheshe, it's like, okay, now what are you going to do with that life? I mean, are we just going to still kind of just wait to initiate people and, you know, be in it? And all the while we're being erased from history books. I told a brother the other day, why do you keep going through being erased? Can't you write? Can't you write? Can't you speak? You understand what I'm saying? So we have Juneteenth. Okay. Granted. But do we have freedom? Okay. Or are we still dependent on, oh, well, you know, if it's the Jehovah Witnesses and they got the, you know, the whole white Jesus thing, and who the whole founder was a white guy in the 1880s or some daggone thing. It wasn't like even going back that far. But you got Black people mobilized to promote and propagate. They're going to give free Bible classes. Guess what I'm setting up next week? Free Orisha and Black history classes.
I know that's right.
Because, you know, my brother, you know, having all this and all that, you know, is nice, but
what are you doing with it?
Yeah, what are we doing with it? What are we doing with it? I refuse to be complacent. And I'm not going to be erased. I've written 6 books. Okay. I use those books in my classes. I'm not going to be erased. Not all the students. Got some very Christian, especially the, you know, the Latino from the Portuguese side of town. They're already Catholicized. I mean, it's painful to see young minds already so, well, you can only find God in the church kind of thinking, you know what I mean? And the whole Catholic thing. And I'm like, are you kidding me right now? You know? You're going to tell me God is everywhere, but you can only find him in the church? You're not being logical.
They got him bamboozled.
Oh,
hoodwinked.
Yeah, but to see the system The system supports that. It supports it.
Right.
I came across a piece just in closing, or for this part. Powerful sister was given a talk about neocolonialism and Nigeria and Ghana specifically. But I think it was more Nigeria. I'm thinking Ghana because they got that whole white Jesus thing. On the buses, on the billboards. I have one brother who was inviting me to go to Ghana, and I showed him some pictures of what some other folks are seeing. I said, I'm not paying my money right now to be going over there for that.
I ain't seen none of that.
That's what I'm saying. You got to know where not to go because it's everywhere.
Wow.
Ghana is known for it. The percentage of Ghanaians who are Christian.
Wow.
But anyway, so she was talking about how in Nigeria, they reached independence, but they signed papers with the British. And those papers, those legal binding documents stated, you may have independence, but we will control your education. Okay, signed off. And that's evident. We will control your resources. Signed off. And that's evident. Okay. We will control your financial realm. Signed off on. And I wrote to the sister and I said there's another aspect that people aren't really talking about. Because they also control the religion. What's accepted as religiously viable and what isn't. Okay. And everywhere you go between those two countries, the least percentage of people are said to be census, the whole census thing, to be Onisheshe or tribalists, all these kind of primitive terms they put on it. Right. Or traditionalists, and most people Christian and Muslim.
Yep.
And they're talking about going hard at it. So my point is, let's bring this over to the US. Okay. We have gained a pseudo freedom. And I say pseudo because obviously we're not enslaved.
Right.
But I question if we are free. And every time we had a leader rise up to say, we may be here, but we not here. We're going to get our own thing together. Like every black city, Tulsa, Rosewood, you name it, who said, we got this, leave us be.
Right.
Oh, then we start to find out just how free we aren't.
Have you ever heard of the MOVE movement, Baba?
Oh yeah, they bombed the folks right there in Philadelphia,
That's
man.
another one. A lot of people, I might make a video on that alone. I don't think a lot of people know about the MOVE movement. That wasn't that long ago, like Rosewood.
No, it wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
And they weren't hurting anybody.
Nope.
They weren't like any of those groups down in, Arkansas, Texas, and them backward people, with weapons and, what I mean, standoffs with the FBI and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
They're just innocent black folk.
Yep.
Who just leave us alone, man.
Yeah.
If we free, then let us be free.
Right.
We're not bothering anybody. There's no crime amongst us. There's nothing.
It's that ego and that desire to be in full control. And that's what these
Yep.
I don't even know what to call them, but that's what these parasites been doing for a long days ago.
Yeah. They took it to a whole nother level. Not to say that human beings, wherever you go, you know what I mean?
Right.
But no, we done took it to a whole nother level.
Oh yeah. That's facts.
And I've seen some work about Juneteenth on some social media and all. And a lot of it was corny.
Yeah, I saw a few too. I did a couple drive-bys earlier. I saw it. It looked
Oh,
like popcorn bubblegum type of stuff.
yeah, yeah. And I'm like, I not a fan, man. I'm not laughing. You know, this is nothing to make light of.
Right,
You
right.
know, you got corny stuff happening, and I had to share with one sister, was like, well, Baba, did you see this? And all that? I said, yeah, but I don't like it. I don't like it, because see, there's no content without intent.
Hmm.
And if it's going to be presented as some lighthearted, laughing matter, and people doing little skits, that are stupid. The white folks are playing slaves, and the black folks are sitting around drinking a can of soda or whatever, telling slave what to do and all that kind of stupid stuff. So, you see, I don't know how much they paid y'all to do this, but I'm mad at y'all for taking the money. I ain't mad at them for offering it because I know the nature of that beast. But when we start selling out like that, because see, you can say no.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do that.
it's a lot. It's a lot of them
Yeah.
collaborators.
No, they got the brother sitting down there, where you talking to the two white guys, like they were the slaves, but it was all like sitcoms, stupid stuff. And then the white boys was like, "Oh, I don't want to do this no more," and then they act like they was whipping them, and when it was all over, white boys pulled up their pants and went to their truck, and the brothers was just sitting there. And I'm like, no, okay. If we're gonna do Juneteenth, then there got to be some of us who say this is serious, and it wasn't just about y'all free now,
Right,
because evidently they weren't.
right.
You had domestic terrorism after emancipation,
Mm-hmm.
all the way up to the 1950s, brother, to the
To this day, still
1950s,
going on.
still going on. Now it's just, like that seven-headed snake, you know,
Mm-hmm. Yep,
and now it's the whole incarceration. And then if that wasn't enough, now it's the pipeline to prison via the high schools.
yep. The music, the entertainment, the food. I mean, yeah, we can. That's
Yeah,
a show in
yeah,
itself.
it's rough.
That's a show in
But
itself.
but one thing we seem to be missing from the 60s is that we ain't gonna take it no more,
Mm.
you know? And like that parent who pushed against, the whole thing that was going to happen at the high school, you know, with the basketball thing that I shared
Oh
earlier.
yeah, 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 yeah.
But she was one or two parents out of how many kids in that school? How many
Probably
kids
thousands.
in the city? Because they were selling tickets to it. They had already started selling tickets, man. You know, and even the name of the program, nothing but ass. Nuttin. Like we don't know what that means.
Please don't tell me they were of melanated descent.
Well, the guy who was uh 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 behind it all, doing this program
Hmm.
was uh the manager of Nicki Minaj.
Well, I'm not surprised.
How
But
you
that,
how you gonna let that into a high school?
right. But that goes right back to what I was just saying. It's genocide music, so that whole industry is all genocide. Like the music, the videos, like all of it. Not all of it, but a majority of it.
Yeah,
So
yeah. And I can even wrestle with it on an adult level. But you got kids coming out of middle school as ninth graders. You understand? As if they ain't fast enough,
right.
you know? And here it is, a school zone. What you gonna do next? Let drug dealers in? You know? So you're gonna sexploit a whole area that has a rippling effect on the whole city because you know, because you don't care about Juneteenth, as a system. And that includes our people as well.
Oh yeah.
You know, you could set up and do Jehovah Witness and praise this white Jesus. Okay, I get it. That's your business. But you ain't the only kid on the block, and you definitely ain't the toughest. Okay.
That's it.
So no, we're gonna go eye to eye on this. Like I said, I sat up right in front of them, not even to the right or to the left, but right in front. And just like you want me to see you, you gonna see me
That's funny.
because I am Ifa.
Mm,
I will be recognized and I will not be erased.
mm,
In
mm,
my Juneteenth ancestors, I feel you, feel you, I feel you, I feel you deep.
mm.
Okay. And I would share with what listeners, our listeners, what you gonna do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Take action. That's what the message from Baba Oya Abile was on our last call recently. He said it's one thing, and it's funny because he kind of it was right in alignment with what you just said. He's like, you got all this information, all these Babalawos, Baba Orishas, and Iyanifas, and priests and priestesses sharing all this knowledge and wisdom and understanding, on the platform. But like, what are you gonna do with it? That's the most important thing because it's kind of like the phrase knowledge is power. Yeah, knowledge is potential power, but it's the application of knowledge that actually manifests it and crystallizes it into true power.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But the
Mm,
people need models, man. They back to the whole lighthouse thing that we talked
right,
about.
right.
In a beacon and hopefully people who hear this podcast are like, Bobby Fine ain't playing.
Mm,
Every week it's like the same person every
yeah,
week. And
yes, sir.
I like, yeah, wherever I go, that's where I am.
I am who I am. I know that's right.
And I know my cause is just, you understand? And all of this makes sense to me. Okay. And like I said, looking for it, we got to shake the earth in order for a tidal wave to happen.
Mm,
Okay. And more of us need to, do the isheshe, to do work. And not everybody needs to get elecades, and not everybody needs to, have chicken heads all around. I mean, not everybody needs to go through that, but everybody does need to be made aware. And with that awareness, you know, create, 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 as opposed to imitate,
mm.
imitate,
Facts.
and imitate,
That's facts.
you know? So yeah, you know, it's
That's
been that kind of day, bro.
Man, listen, like I said, the energy's been energying because, like I said, I had a couple things try to come my way. Even when I
Mhm.
came back in the room earlier, I'm like, okay, I see where we're going here. But nah, I get it. I get it.
I don't
So,
know.
so now I know we spoke last week. We spoke about a lot, but one of the things that I recall you said that you kind of want to tap back into was the goddess of Ye Oshun
Mm.
and her influence and her who and what she is to Isheshe.
Mm.
Can you kind of share with us, what it was that you wanted to add on to what we discussed last week in terms of Yeye Oshun?
Yes, I do. Without, rehashing, I think I laid it down pretty, you know,
Strong.
precisely.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, but what I did not mention was Oshun as the Orisha of the goddess of love.
Hmm.
Okay. Now we kind of danced around sensuality and sexuality. The two can be connected, but not necessarily. A woman can be sensual, a man can be sensual, but that doesn't mean that they're sexual.
Right.
Okay. And vice versa. You can be sexual with somebody you got an understanding with, but you ain't really turned on by him. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
just
Oh yeah.
use
They call it
me.
situationships.
Yeah.
That's what well, I can't keep up because they got so many new words now. It's hard, but yeah, that's one of the ones I know.
But ain't nothing new about it. It's just a new word, but trust me, you know I know I ain't
Oh,
nothing.
yeah.
Right. So then we kind of moved from that and started to unfold, mm, different ways of perceiving Oshun. Okay? The same way we would unfold different ways of perceiving all of the Orisha that we know of. Okay. Because remember, it was 401.
Right.
Not just 7. Okay.
Right.
So, and then that leading us, as the Orishas are portals to Ifa. And now to continually work at the balancing, just like the Zen master continually works on Zen. You just don't reach Zen.
Right.
Okay. Well, you just don't become initiated in to be an Ababalao.
Right.
And then now all you do is, well, how many readings can I do? You know what I mean? Or you're Baba Orisha or El Orisha. And it's like, well, how many initiates can I get? You know what I mean? The pursuit of happiness that has to be turned around. And the happiness of the pursuit needs to take precedence.
Right.
To be ever growing, to be ever evolving from within. And living by the Allah Ashe of Orumila. Okay? And striving to become an authentic human being. Okay. So when we talk about Oshun starting now, we question what is love, and we question what is unconditional love. Because the general notion is, love is more fleeting than it is permanent between human beings. Okay. The people I loved before, I don't love them no more. Okay. I loved you up until we broke up. Now I don't love you no more.
Right.
You understand?
Just went out the window. I flushed it down the toilet. It's gone. It's out of there.
Yeah. Love, is a fleeting emotion. Like Tina Turner said, what's love got to do with it?
Yeah, man. A whole lot. Either a whole lot or a whole lot of nothing. One or the other.
And then you got people who love their religion, who love their God, but they'll turn around and enslave and murder and commit all types of atrocities on another human being in the name of their God or in the name of their justification. But they'll still say, I love Jesus, or I love Muhammad, or I love, you know what I mean? I have love. So, when I look at this word love, I just see it all over. And I worked in social services as a while ago for 3-4 years. And I had to, bust into homes where there was abuse going on. And, and as much as people hated the fact that, the government was getting involved, and you had child services and all that, I said, well, see, you're not looking at the whole picture. You're not looking at the whole picture, because the pictures I could show you shut you up. But one interesting and related thing about it is that I could take an abused child, even a teenager. And so I got to take you away from here, and now we got to do something about this, because okay, I got the call. I'm here. I'm not walking out of here without doing something. And if that doing something means I'm taking you, then get your stuff, and we'll deal with the grown folks later. But all of that to say that even when the child was being abused, marks everything. But I love my mom. That word love again.
Mm.
You see where I'm going? You know, and I began to really look at that and see how people throw that word around. And even a child attempts to name a bonding. You know, that's your mother. I get it.
Right.
Okay. But I don't know what the term for how you're feeling right now is love.
Right. Did they call that Stockholm syndrome? Is that what that is? Or is it another?
That's a whole nother story.
Gotcha. There's a name they gave some sort
Yeah.
of,
I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember. I can't pull it up right now. But
yeah, we'll get to it, you know. But the whole thing is love needs to be dissected as a word and the connotations of it. Okay. And now, mind you, when we read about the Orisha, it's basically because someone has translated it from Yoruba into Spanish, English, Dutch, or whatever. But we're not reading as if we were yet to be colonized or yet to be enslaved or yet to have our language translated, basically by Eurocentric missionaries. Okay. And they didn't have to be European. They're just Eurocentric.
Right.
Okay. A lot of the African folks who were so educated at the time, the few, and they came back and started translating. That's where you get Satan is the devil. Eshu was the devil. Eshu was Satan. That's where you get that from. That's a translation. Okay. That people are still struggling with, you know, pushing it to the side. No, Eshu was not Satan. It's literally people walking around with t-shirts saying that.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, but where did the whole concept come from? Because somebody mistranslated it. What I'm hearing Oshun saying is that I'm not about unconditional love. Because if someone is harming you, okay, you may still have feelings for them due to your trauma experience, due to what you have come to define as love. Maybe you're from an abusive home. You understand what I'm saying? Maybe your mother went through whatever. But so you associate this need and you call it love. But really, it's not. And whatever love is, I'm telling you as Oshun, it isn't that. Okay. Now, at a time when our civilizations had less of that kind of thing going and more of an intact family structure, you know, before the white man came, you know, kind of thing, to quote the last poets, you know, with that, maybe there was a semblance of we can love unconditionally. Okay. Or we can understand each other unconditionally, or we can be with each other unconditionally because you're not abusing me.
Right.
I haven't come from an abusive history
of
enslavement and colonization. I don't know what it's like to have somebody beat me half to death. And then I'm still saying, I love you, I love you, I love you. I don't know what that's like. So, we have to rethink these terms. Because I'm sure that Oshun is not going to sit back and say, you have to love somebody who is berating you and belittling you and abusing you and say, I love you unconditionally. Just keep doing whatever you're doing to me. It's okay.
Right.
But that's how I've heard a lot of people back in the day. That's how, well, unconditional means that you just keep loving them. And maybe you'll love them long enough and hard enough. I'm like, this ain't Christianity, baby.
And even if it was, I don't know that kind of love.
Damn, man, how much divorce courts and people in jail, domestic
Yeah.
violence? Are you kidding me? They ain't no, oh no, unconditional love and turn the other cheek and oh, Jesus gonna forgive you and all that kind of stuff. It's like, no, be for real, y'all. This is all about people. This is all about people.
Facts.
Okay. So I said, okay, well, Oshun, I'm listening. So if it's not about unconditional love, then what is it about?
Mm.
And she said, compassion.
Mm.
Compassion.
Mm.
If everyone just learned to be compassionate.
Mm. You know, Baba, speaking of Oshun,
Mm-hmm.
and I wish I'd thought about it last week, but I'm glad I did
Oh, we
today.
good. Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard of a person named Susan Wenger?
Yeah, yeah. She did all the carvings and everything for the Oshun and Osogbo. Yeah.
I
Oh,
have never heard of that one before until I was over there in Osogbo, in Osun State. Baba Tolu and comrade Baba Chief Ami Tolu Shitu, they were
okay.
talking about her. And
Yeah.
man, it was like I had never heard of that lady before, ever. And then when I got home, I was talking about her and we looked her up and I saw what she did. But
Mm-hmm.
I asked that, and I'm so glad that I remember this too, because I'm gonna start asking questions like this to guests or just people even in general, regular everyday life. But I ask you this, with you knowing the work that she's done, and I'll commend her. She did some tremendous work in the Ocean Grove and for the Ocean River and that whole sacred site. But
Mm-hmm.
my question to you is, with the work that she did and how significant that work was in terms of the whole Oshun Grove and the river over there and Osogbo being designated a historical site through UNESCO and all that good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your My question to you is, do you believe that A, her work was pure from her heart and that was in her to do for the sake of humanity and being a good person? Or B, do you believe that the spirit or the Ashe of Oshun used her as an avatar, being that for those who are not listening who know who she is, she's a white lady, a lady of European descent. Do you
Mm-hmm.
believe that the energy or the Ashe of Oshun used her kind of like an avatar to do the goddess Oshun's work? If you had to answer that question, which way would you lean towards with that one, Baba?
Both.
Mm, mm,
Okay.
mm,
Because, clearly one's race, quote unquote, one's nationality, okay, need not and historically has not been a blockage to spiritual insights, embracing different people's
ethnic groups.
cultural practices. Okay. Human beings have traveled the world a couple of times. No one culture is just one culture.
Mm,
And no one people is just one people, depending on how far you want to go back.
right.
So I don't know her genealogy, but it could be possible that there's more to her than meets the eye.
Mm,
Okay. Um, we could say the same thing in respect to black preachers,
mm.
black church.
Oh,
Okay.
you trying to light a fire on Juneteenth, Baba.
You know, I mean,
Oh,
they've embraced the Eurocentric.
mm,
They've built churches.
mm,
You understand what I'm saying? They
mm,
baptize in the name of. They Christian
mm,
our babies in the name of.
mm.
And they ain't white. They ain't European, and some of them, if we go, to the continent, we may find that they don't have a drop of white blood in them, but they got that Jesus thing happening, and they got preachers up there with the Holy Ghost and everything else. So I just bring that up to say that it doesn't seem to matter. What does seem to matter is the sincerity. What does seem to matter is the rippling effect of one's work. The only thing I do question, however, is that how come the Nigerians didn't do that themselves?
Listen, based off of what and I wasn't directly involved with the conversation. I was just like a spectator. Like we were just sitting at the table chilling one night. After I'm not sure what night it was, but we were just chilling at Baba Shitu's house and just kicking it. And they got into a deep conversation, the two of them. But it was very enlightening for me because like I said, I'd never heard of this lady before. So for me to learn that much in that little bit of time, I was honored to be there just to hear those two because both of them are a wealth of knowledge. So it was like it really gave me a perspective as to like that really was fixated in my mind, like which way do people think? And I think you might be like the second or third person I asked that question because I want to know. Well, I know what my thoughts are, but I know my thoughts are biased, and I'm just gonna be real. I know my thoughts are biased, so I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna be real with you. So I don't want to put my thoughts or my impression on anybody that I ask the question to. You know what I mean? So I know someone like you is not gonna have it anyways, but other people, I don't want them to think that I'm trying to, because I won't give them my perspective and answer anyway before I ask the question. I'll tell them mine after they answer. But it just is something that I was curious. But boy, when I tell you flipped the script and threw a whole monkey wrench in that with what you said, because that's definitely a whole nother way to look at it when you say it that way. I didn't think about that, but whoa, what? Yeah, that's that you talking about food for thought. That's definitely some food for thought right there for sure.
And we have, people of content, geographically, studying Shaolin martial arts and
yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
Clan.
The Chinese are over there and they're teaching and whatever else they doing, taking over, But the whole thing is we sitting back, twiddling our thumbs or whatever. We're too good at imitating and we're too good at accepting. So Susan Wenger comes in and her husband was Uli Beer, and they're both Austrian or whatever, and he was an ethnomusicologist. And I'm not downplaying his work, but he came in and it's like, yo, okay, I get it. But at the same time, where are our scholars? You got people who've been craftsmen for generations over there. Now, did they attempt to do it? And the government said no, shut them down. But here comes,
I got sidetracked. I forgot to answer the question, but what I gathered from that conversation, now mind you, I haven't done any research or anything like that, but I do respect their thought, their mindsets, and their thoughts on it. But from what I gathered from that conversation, I'm not going to quote neither one of them because I don't want to misspeak or put any misinformation out there. But what I gathered from the conversation is that the indigenous Nigerians who were there in the Isheshe, Ifa, Orisha community that was there from the natives, they kind of like just washed their hands with it for the most part. Like they wasn't really feeling it like that. So what happened is, from what they were saying, is that when she came over there and she showed so much interest in it and she was so fascinated and enamored with it and in all of it, they started to look at themselves like, wait a minute. This our, you know what I'm saying? This our stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, how you gonna come over here and, just be trying to do our stuff better than us or whatever. And not necessarily from a competitive or a negative aspect, but more so, I think she had like a positive influence on them to see that our culture is really worth something we probably need to get back to practicing and, you know what I'm saying, like living the life of Ifa for ourselves, you know what I'm saying? Because if she sees the value in it, why do we not see the value in it? And I think that's what kind of like put some fuel, you know, into their fire and got them to where they started rallying around and getting back into, you know, the traditional heritage of the ancestors. So that's what I got out of the conversation. I would love to interview them and ask them directly, you know, how they feel about that and get a direct answer. But that's kind of what I got out of what I heard during the conversation. So I'm not 100%.
Yeah, man, it sounds about right because, again, you know, the whole colonization,
Right.
you know, and the mindset of the defeated, you know, the victor does more than write the history.
Right.
The victor tears into your mind and places themselves, you know, as the epitome of everything that's right, and you are degraded to everything that's not. So it would take a white woman to come in and, you know, tell you that your stuff is correct, you know, for you to accept it. You know, I see more of the psychological damage of the people than her being some saving grace.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I'm gonna
Because
tell you in real life terms too, I see it happen I ain't say all the time, but I've seen it happen too many times where I'll use a perfect example of that same exact scenario, but in the same exact situation, but a different scenario is when I'm in line in the grocery store and it's a brother or a sister, and it's usually younger brothers and sisters, but it's some of them my age or elders, but that has happened too. But they're kikiing and jumping and jiving, and you know they got the most bubbliest personality with the European person that they're ringing up. But then when I get there, they just look like don't know hello, good afternoon, good evening, no nothing. They just give me the stank dookie face. Like
right,
I just came there, you know, and it said something about their mama. And so
right,
I don't let it get me upset because I've experienced it too many times now that I just flip the script. Like, hey, good afternoon, how you doing? You know,
yeah,
what's going
yeah,
on? Saying like just come with that real strong energy. Like you ain't about to like put a cloud over my energy
right,
because you want to be, you know, you want to be cooning up with Sandy and Becca that was in
right.
front of me, but then you want to give me the dookie face. So it's like I think that's probably maybe what you know probably took place based off of I think you know based off of your assessment that sounds about right because I've seen that happen in current days with just something simple as that.
And again, Juneteenth, you understand? You know, what is it? What is it going to change about the way we perceive
Hmm.
each other?
Hmm.
And are we going to take that next leap of capacity, not
Hmm.
faith, but
Hmm.
capacity, and actually do something, you know? And every small thing makes a big thing,
Right.
you know? So I'm saying, oh, you're gonna recognize Ifa in this building and everywhere I go.
No, that's right.
I've made a global statement,
I say.
you know, and something besides you is going to exist. And I don't need your approval. I don't need your approval
Say.
because I'm not trying to look up to what you're looking up to,
Yeah.
you know? But I ain't going to be looked down upon either.
That will happen. No sir.
No. So, you know, pulling from that and then, you know, listening to Oshun and saying, okay, well, you're going to war. So where's your compassion?
Hmm.
Well, my compassion is in my heart.
Hmm.
Okay. My fighting ability is in my hand.
Hmm.
Okay. And the love for my people, you know, is my purpose.
Hmm.
Why would I be a high priest of
Hmm.
Ifa and have no consideration for the ancestral being of we as an African people?
Hmm.
I dare you to find a Jewish priest
Hmm.
who has none. I dare you to find a Catholic priest who has none. But I've seen a whole lot of Yoruba priests and priestesses. Is Juneteenth even mentioned in the Elays? Is there an ancestral day, an ancestral worship, and an ancestral recognition other than I got an ancestor shrine? Really?
Yeah.
Really? How do I set up an ancestor shrine? No. How do you continue the work of your ancestors?
That's the don't get me wrong, what we're talking about is definitely valuable and it has its purpose, but you're talking about that's the embodiment of the shrine right there is what
There you go.
It's kind of like when you make Abo the E5, like I want to say it was you that says that to me. Is like it's not, you could do that Abo, but what sacrifice are you doing? Or how are you sacrificing yourself for the sake of the success of the Abo? Because the real sacrifice is within after the message has been sent up to the gods. So what are you doing with that sacrifice?
Right. Wait around to do another one. Like a junkie. You know what I'm saying? With my next high. Okay.
Oh man.
Stop all of that, man. Get out of here. Stop that.
Oh man.
I got something for you. I'm shutting the door.
Mm.
This ain't no crack house. Okay. This is a place of spiritual worship and understanding.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna start putting on shows and to keep you entertained and all that kind of stuff. Going out there and make something of yourself.
Let me ask you this, Baba. I might have asked you this question before. If I have, forgive me, but
no problem.
I want to know. I do want to know the answer because I know it's came up on a call before. I'm not sure if you were on the call with me or if it was someone else, but how do you? At what point do you feel like you have to cut either a client, or it don't even have to be a client, like just a person in your life who you've poured into and given your expertise or your guidance, your coaching, your mentoring, your cultivating, whatever you want to call it, where you've tried to help them and you have helped them, but they're not helping themselves. How long do we working on with a person before we have to say, okay, I gotta keep pushing because the work that we're doing now is in vain because you're not doing the work for yourself?
When the point is reached where it becomes obvious that the point has been reached, you're grown. Everybody who's listening here grown. You know exactly when enough is enough.
Yeah.
Now, whether you want to accept it or not, whether you want to find some reason to be unconditional, you know what I mean? Whether you need to have it or not. None of that becomes, the questions.
Yeah.
But knowing when it's time or not, that is not the question. Everybody know when it's time. Everybody know when it's time. But then we get the feeling, oh, I'm giving up, or oh, this and oh that. We start to dance around it until we stumble and fall. We hold on to it, and until it burns our hands. And it always ends up with, I should have let that go a long time ago. But I look at it like this, from my Zen state, is that I'm going to show this person the greatest of compassion that I can muster at this time.
I like that.
When you came to me, you were like a little bird with a broken wing. Okay? You were chirping in the rain, crying for help. You could not fly. You became vulnerable to any and every predator. Without asking for anything in return. I came, I lifted you, I took you in, I helped you to heal. I fed you. I watched you get stronger and become the you that you are, not the you that I want you to be, the you that you are. And whether I agree with it or not, whether I accept it or not, whether I'm going to let you go or not, because, oh, you sound so nice, it's good waking up in here and you chirping in the morning and blah, 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 blah. That has nothing to do with my state of compassion, my state of mind. And when I know that it's time for you to go, you have already made the decision to leave. So because I'm the master teacher, I'm going to make it easy on everybody. Peace. If you really ever need me, you can call me. But don't get mad if I don't pick up right away. Because now you need to know how to fly on your own.
Yeah.
And that's the greatest gift that I can give you back.
Thanks.
You know, I helped you. I did what I could do. It's time for you to go. Then gone. And then gone.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be honest with myself if I said, I didn't know that this was going to happen.
Right. Right.
You knew long time ago.
Yeah, energy and intuition is a real thing, man. Real thing.
Yeah.
Real thing.
So hopefully that answers the question.
No, it did. It was a phenomenal answer, actually. Because I think, I just look at it from so many different places, like from parents who have children, grown adult children that they're still helping, to, younger children who you've given the answers and the guidance, and, they're not doing it, or siblings, you know what I mean? Like, or just, whoever, co-workers. Like, I just know, I feel like a lot of people, if not most people, have someone in their life, or someone that, that they share environments with, that they've tried to help, or, tried to cultivate or coach, or, like I said, heal the wing and all that, but then they're still not doing what they have to do. And that's what a common theme has been, like the last 2 or 3 calls, is about the applied knowledge and the action. And even you, I think 2, 3 weeks ago, was drilling home the point of consistency, and it's like, you can't build the Great Pyramids in Kemet, like the snap of your finger. It's going to take consistent, diligent, precise, work on a really, really large scale to build a monument that's the 7th wonder of the world. So it has to be consistency. It has to be diligence. It has to be, a continuous effort. And I think that's one of the things where so many people get discouraged or lost with the microwave mentality. Even when you talk about like the BBL thing, it's like, I'm never going to approve or give, I'm never going to co-sign somebody paying for something that I've seen people with my own eyes work to get. Like that. I don't know why it bothers me. I guess because I be in the gym and I see the people who put in the work, and I've seen skinny people go from being skinny to developing nice figures. I've seen fat people go to developing, like phenomenal figures because they worked for it. And I respect the hell out of it. And I admire people who work that hard at something they want, because I see the process in real time. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I really am impressed by that. And then even like the locks, that's another one that I've had some conversations about, people with the fake locks. And I'm just like, I'm never going to respect that, because it's just a hairstyle. But for me, it's a lifestyle. Like I grew my locks, there was a real spiritual meaning behind locks. It wasn't just the hairstyle. The growth of the locks signified the growth of me as a man. It signified rebirth and transformation. So I can't respect or give the same respect to somebody who went to a stylist and got some hair they bought and put it in there and wearing the style the same way it took me 5.5, 6 years to get from the equity, the sweat equity of putting in the work to make this, a lifestyle. And it's like, I just feel like that's a real deficit with the society that we have now. Not everybody, but a lot of people. I feel like it's a deficit that we're not willing to put in the work to get to where we want to get to. Because I feel like it's not going to feel the same to me personally if you paid, if you paid for it, like instead of earning it and putting in the work, and cultivating it. So that's a whole other call.
A lot of empty titles, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You say that about, when I was into the martial art field, people like, what, You can go to the store and buy a black belt.
There you go. It's saying
I mean, really, you can just go right up the street and buy two or three.
That's an even better metaphor right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
it's the same thing, man. It's like, you don't want to work for it. You ain't never got one bruise. You know what I'm saying? Who are you again? Oh, somebody wasn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or you paid your way through school, so you got all of these paperwork, but you just is unknowing
bag of rocks.
I'm like, but it's the world we live in, brother. And me, I still work out. I try to put in 3-4 hours a day.
I was talking about you last week about that, matter of fact, because the call I had with Baba Shango Ni, I think that one went up on Friday. I don't know what it went on the channel, but we were talking about that because he was talking about Ori and how working out, exercising is like a cleansing for your Ori. And I'm like, yeah, I see that, because when I go to the gym, I'd be high as a kite when I come home. Like, I'd be so high, and it's like, it's one of the best highs in the world to me because it's organic, it's natural. Yeah, I'm sweaty and hot, but I feel good because I don't know if I can get another high from anything else than that high, unless it's like winning a big ball game or something like that. But yeah, it definitely, I see how that could be looked at as feeding or appeasing of the Ori, because it really is a really strong high when you got those endorphins blasting off, like firing off like that.
Sweat, you're detoxing your body, you know what I mean, the whole nine, and then you're going to eat better.
Going
to be better.
You
know what I mean? So but we're going to get into the therapeutic value of all that we're into, but I guess we'll save that till next week.
Yeah, we definitely can get it next week for sure. Because if I didn't have to go do what I got to do,
but it's been good.
I'm all for it. I'm all for it.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna send you what I was telling you about too, because it inspires me on another level to go even harder, man. Like, to know that people are benefiting from it. It was like just some testimonials some of the people been sending, via text or voicemails and things of that nature about just different things that they're hearing, on the platform. So it's like, for me, it's very humbling and gratifying. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. You get people to the second edition. Because I know you, and speaking what you're speaking about, people are curious about terms and concepts. But this is the second edition of the handbook. So if you see it in a different, cover, it's the same book with a little bit more to it.
Right. And I don't have mine by me. I normally have it by me, the original one. But yeah, you know what's funny? Because I got it on all 3 platforms.
Okay.
I got to get that one though. I don't have that yet, but I'm gonna get that one. But I got it on the paperback, the original paperback, and then I got it on the audio book, and then I got it on the ebook. But I remember, I'm sorry, it was the paperback and the ebook that had the first cover, and then when I bought the ebook, you had updated. I'm like, what the hell, man?
The audio book.
I was like, okay, it just got a different cover, so but yeah, I got that joint on all 3 platforms: ebook, paperback, and audio, man, because it's a classic for sure. So if y'all don't got it yet, make sure you get that handbook, because that's definitely, it started it all for me for sure.
Yeah. So again, we're doing the work.
I sure.
Okay, and whatever we talk about, we can back it up. We've done the research. We have empirical data through research, and we have our own experiences.
Sure.
The anecdotal evidence. It's like we've traveled, we've been there, we've seen what we've seen. And yeah, I'm still processing it from back in 1986 when I got my first elecades. I'm still processing. I still got notes. I'm trying to figure out how am I going to put all this, into something that was going to continue so much longer than this flesh.
Yeah.
It's stated that one needs to think 7 generations ahead when they do their work.
Sir.
Your life work should extend to 7 generations. And if that generation is 20 years or whatever, wow, 140, 150 years, people need to still be saying my name.
Oh, they sure will. Most definitely.
But it ain't going to happen if I'm quiet.
Right.
Facts. But before you leave, when we had the conference with the Jagun, okay, could I get some more paperwork on that? I want to start sliding it into my website. And I'm gonna start kind of making sense of what I want to do. You know, like I want to work with the sister who's doing the working with the incarcerated individuals. Because my whole thing is let's get them the books.
Yeah.
So they can start reading.
Yeah, that's my wing. That's part of my responsibilities under my office. That's my wing is to work with.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's my wing. Yeah. Yeah, the adults, the brothers who are dealing with that, as well as the youth. And so for me, it's right up my alley because I've been working in those environments.
Okay.
I haven't been into an actual facility for adults yet per se, but I'll tell you one thing though. The beauty in it is my work has been in the facility because I had a family member who did, unfortunately had to do a bid, and the timing of it was so like amazing. He called me right before I went to Nigeria, and mind you, my first book came out, Tips came out in like 2017, I want to say 2016, 2017, and he had a copy of it. And he said, man, I read it. He said, like, cuz I ain't tell you how, your book helped me out, man. It did a lot for me when I was in there. He's like, and then I let some of the brothers, read it too. He's like, and they got some real good feedback from, the brothers that he's like, I ain't let everybody read it. He's like, only the brothers I felt like that, the energy was in alignment that could vibe with it. But he said they got really good feedback. He said so much so. He said one of them kept it. It wasn't by purpose. He was getting transferred or something, and I think my cousin was out of his pod or whatever when it happened. But he was saying that, he didn't take it personal because he knew he wouldn't have done that. He just, the timing wasn't right for him to get it. But long story short, it was like literally right before I started back doing the Ashe and the community. It was like, I felt like the extra kind of like power pellet, you know what I mean? Like to give me that extra boost of juice, like to know that the work is making an impact, even with the brothers who, unfortunately that's behind the walls of this systemic
we got something for them though, because we're just sitting around being happy because it's whatever day, like, come on now. We put a lot of time into giving you something that you can put your hands on, you know what I mean? That you can read, that you can, engage in conversation about.
Yes, sir.
Bobby Ifa has a number of books. You pick one, you know what I mean?
Handbook or GC.
Yeah.
Nights of Men, the Reflections. There's what, two more I think I'm that's trying to run away
Place of Nights.
Place of Nights.
And then Storms of the Orisha.
Yes,
which I made into Souls of Myrrh.
Gotcha.
Those are the two novels.
Gotcha.
So so we have more materials, and by this time next year, I hope to be finished the one on Zen. Ifa and Zen. I don't want to get to writing it yet. I got to travel. You know what I mean? I got the journey. I got to see where I'm going and where I'm not.
That's how I felt about mine, but I got to get it started though, because I definitely need you to be a part of that one for sure. So I got to make that thing happen, man.
Right. Okay, my brother.
Well, I appreciate you, Baba. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Gbemi. Huge shout out to Baba Oloye, Ifa Karade for stopping by, sharing his words of wisdom, which always greatly appreciated. And I look forward to doing it again, Baba.
Right.
Ashe, so I holler at you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see y'all on the next episode. We are out. Peace.
Odabo, my people.
Odabo.
Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé ṣàpò ìyàgbọ́ tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn ò bá padà sílé anítìjà kọ ẹja lọ pé eégún mo ṣe ní gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors, embrace your